seat. Thank you very much, Sandy Guillaume, for that beautiful singing rendition of the anthems. We really appreciate that. We have been blessed today to have a wonderful group here to support our veterans. Thank you all for coming. I'd like to acknowledge the many dignitaries here with us today, members of our military, members of our Consular Corps, state political leaders, and members of our Veterans Club. Thank you to all of you here in our audience for your service, support, and dedication to our veterans. We greatly appreciate your attendance. Now, I'd like to introduce to you maybe one of my favorite speakers today, because I'm a little biased, Consul Guillaume Maman. He is the Honorary Consul of France in Hawaii. Originally from Paris, France, he has been a resident of Honolulu for the last 32 years. While in France, he served in the French Airborne Forces and received the Medal of National Defense. He graduated from La Sorbonne University in Paris with a master's degree in finance. Ladies and gentlemen, Consul Maman.
Well, if there were a person who could pronounce my name correctly, I wonder why. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Aloha et komo mai. Bienvenue and welcome. Before getting to the formalities of having the pleasure and the honor to recognize 6 true American heroes, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude to Governor David Ige and Mrs. Donna Manawige, our First Lady, for once again joining us today. Governor David Ige's father was part of the 10442, and actually we were talking about it last month, but the mayor was here, was also part of the rescue of the lost battalion. Mrs. Donna Manawige's father was also part of the 100th Battalion, and so I know it is a very special moment for you too, and a very personal moment. So thank you very much. Once again, you come to honor the veterans all the time. We appreciate that. I would like to give a very warm mahalo also to our Consul General of France in San Francisco, Consul General Emmanuel Lebrun-Damien, and Assistant Consul General Mrs. Catherine Delfino. Both of them came from California today, especially to honor the veterans that are here with us. So as we say in Hawaii, mahalo nui loa, merci beaucoup. I would like to acknowledge the members of our Consular Corps, some of my fellow members. I see Mr. Joe McDonald, thank you for coming. I see, of course, our Consul General of New Zealand, David Treacher, Consul General Treacher, thank you very much for coming. I see our Consul Emeritus of France, Consul Patricia, thank you very much for coming, and all the members of the Consular Corps. And of course, Consular Corps, and of course all our distinguished guests, but most of all, a very special welcome to our 6th veteran on the stage, and also very importantly to their loved ones that have come today. We see everybody, we see aunties, we see cousins, we see all the family coming here. So please, everyone, please join me and give them a round of applause. In alphabetical order, we have on stage with us Mr. Royce Eiko Higa, Mr. Idenobu Kiyane, Mr. George Kenichi Oide, Mr. Clinton Ikuzo Shiraishi, Mr. Koichi Harry Tokushige, and Mr. Paul Sanji Watanabe. Once again, today is a special day. The presentation of La Légion d'honneur to 6 extraordinary men, lycée veterans, and true American heroes of the 10442, whose courage, faith, and dedication contributed 75 years ago to defend and preserve the independence of France and Europe. I would like to also extend this tribute today to all your fellow soldiers during the Second World War, and especially to those who did not make it back to their families. Throughout my country, I have seen many American cemeteries in Normandy, in Épinal, where lie some of your comrades. Know that their memory is cherished by all the people of France. The ultimate sacrifice they made was not in vain. The blood they shed on the battlefields of Europe sealed our friendship and preserved the foundation of our shared beliefs. Indeed, France, the United States, and Hawaii don't just share the same colors on our flags, the red, white, and blue. We share the same devotion of our common beliefs, our common core values of freedom, tolerance, and democracy. What America calls life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and to what we call in France, liberté, égalité, fraternité. The 442, or 442nd Regimental Combat Team of the U.S. Army, was a fighting unit composed almost entirely of American soldiers of Japanese ancestry. Beginning in 1944, the regiment fought primarily in Italy, France, and Germany. The legendary 100th Infantry Battalion was in combat for 20 months, from September 29, 1943, until Germany surrendered in May 2nd, 1945. After 5 months, the 100 had suffered so many casualties that it was called the Purple Heart Battalion. After merging with the 442 in Italy, it was so famous that it was granted the unique privilege of keeping its original name. Both units fought famous battles in France in 1944, in the Vosges Mountain liberating Bruyères and Bifontaine. This played a decisive role in the liberation of France. They did it at a very heavy cost. General Jacob Devers declared, in the entire events in Europe, Bruyères will be long remembered as the most vicious combat. The 10442 became the most decorated unit in U.S. military history for its length and time of service. For its size and length of service. It has suffered the highest casualty rate of any unit in the history of American warfare. Everyone who battled in that war suffered, but the missing warrior had to struggle with additional challenges, like discrimination, distrust, and outright hostility. They fought bravely, despite the fact that many of their families were subject to internment. Before sending you to battle, General Eisenhower said, "The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people march with you." Gentlemen, you answered his call. You save those liberty-loving people that General talked about. You save those people you didn't even know. I am here today to tell you that the people who were alive in 1944, like my mother, have not forgotten. Their children, like me, their grandchildren, like my sons, have not forgotten. France will never forget. The French Legion of Honor has been awarded to only a selected few U.S. military heroes who served in World War II. I'm sure you will recognize some of their names: George Marshall, Omar Bradley, Douglas MacArthur, Mark Clark, and Chester Nimitz. And now your names have been added to the very select group of international heroes, an honor well deserved. Kuleana is a unique word in Hawaiian language and a unique concept in Hawaiian culture. Our eternal gratitude, it means responsibility and duty. Our eternal gratitude needs to be translated not only by a Hawaiian youth today, France's highest distinction, but by our kuleana to perpetuate and honor your legacy for many generations. You were once called ordinary men asked to do extraordinary things. But if we are all gathered here today, 75 years later, to honor you, the greatest generation, is because we know you were, you are, and you always will be extraordinary men. Thank you very much.